Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to Lost. My name is Kirioth and I've been playing a little bit of Assassin's Creed Unity. Well, I say a little bit, actually quite a lot of Assassin's Creed Unity. And this is my fantastical review. Now, I'm going to briefly give you a little bit of a history on me and Assassin's Creed, just so that you know that I am not pulling stuff out of my arse or making comparisons to stuff that I know nothing about. I played 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, a bit of 3, about 8 hours of 3, then I gave up because Connor is just an absolute wanker and I can't stand him. And Black Flag, Kenway, not a wanker, quite enjoyed Kenway. So I've played all the major releases on all the major platforms. It's all good, I've really enjoyed it, I really like the series, I really like the franchise, I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. So, you will be glad to know that I have been really enjoying Assassin's Creed Unity. It's just a solid Assassin's Creed game. That's the best thing about it. It is a solid Assassin's Creed game. Now, they've tweaked things. They always tweak stuff. Always, always, always. What they've tweaked for Unity is the combat system. They have added in extra customization. By the way, just before we go any further, an insane amount of customization. Mental. Like, properly mental. I sat there looking at this menu and I was like, holy... what? What is all of this? You can change your hood, your chest, not your chest, your body armor, your wrist armor, your legs, your belt. It's just ridiculous. There's like a million weapons, a million guns, a million other guns, a million types of armor, and all of them have got different stats. It's pretty mad, to be honest. I like it. I feel like maybe it's a little bit too much. Like, I don't know whether I actually particularly care all that much about that much customization, but it's a nice option to have, and I know that a lot of people will be like, oh my god, I can make him look however I like. I like that aspect of it. The weird sort of distribution of stats, I'm not really sure about. I don't know whether I like that or not, but all in all, a bit crazy, but quite good. I've also completely lost what I was going to say. Yeah, combat. They've changed the combat, they've switched it up a little bit. It feels a lot better than it did in 3 and in Black Flag. And in fact, it feels a damn sight better than it did in Revelations, because Revelations got a bit silly. It kind of felt like the swords you were holding were made out of cardboard. Really solid cardboard, but really light cardboard all the same. Ezio was like, what, 80 years old, and he was still dancing about doing whatever the hell he liked. It felt a bit ridiculous. Unity, however, has added some like real weight to the weapons. Like when you smack someone with a sword, you feel like you've smacked someone with a sword. And you don't just like sort of dance and prance about waving it around. It actually feels like it's weighing you down, which is really nice. I like that. I like that aspect of things. If I'm having a fight with someone, I want it to feel like a fight to the death, you know, not like a children's play fight. I want someone to come out of this alive and someone else to be on the floor, preferably with either no head or no guts. I'll take either. And Revelations didn't feel like that. Neither did 3 really, and for my money, Black Flag was getting there, but not quite there. Unity feels properly weighty. It feels like you're actually holding a weapon, which is really nice. I really like that. And the heavier the weapon, you know, actually, as in the heavier the weapon, the heavier it feels. So, like the scimitar that I use most of the time, I like that weapon, I really enjoy using it. It feels lighter when I'm using it than the bastard sword, which I don't know why I pronounce it like that, I always do, I just like it for whatever reason. If I'm using the bastard sword, it really weighs you down. Like, it feels like it weighs you down. And I really like that. It adds like an extra element to the combat. The combat is not as easy as it used to be either. It feels definitely more challenging to me. I don't know whether that's because I'm like out of practice, but it definitely feels like there's less margin for error, you know? If you miss the parry, if you miss the dodge, it feels like there's an actual consequence to it, whereas recovery time, especially sort of towards the start of the series, was just instant. Oh, I've been hit. Oh, it doesn't matter, the guy's now dead. This doesn't feel like this. Feels like you really don't want to get hit. You also don't want to like get into massive world-ending fights either, because there's a lot less standing around now. The guards don't just stand there and watch you kill people one after the other. It feels like they actually attempt to make some sort of effort to kill you, which is refreshing and nice, and I like that because I've said before, it's supposed to be Assassin's Creed. It's not bloody Conan the Barbarian's Creed. So, you know, if you can avoid fighting, it should reward you for doing that and punish you for getting caught by 10 guards, because if you get caught by 10 guards, you're doing it wrong. Another thing they've tweaked, which I really like, is the free running system. Now, the free running system has been in Assassin's Creed since, well, the first one, obviously, and it's nice, you know, it still feels good, still feels fluid, still very well, no, not very, mostly easy control, there is still that really irritating thing, and it pisses me off because it's been in this series since like the first game, where occasionally your guy will just get stuck on a wall and will be like, well, that's all, that's it, that's your lot. I can't go up, down, sideways, nope, I'm just going to sit here. And you'll just sit there thrashing the controller like, what the fuck are you doing? Go over, there's a ledge right there, and he won't do it. And then, because you'd have moved the analog stick slightly up by like some nth of a degree, he'll do it because, you know, you hit the magic spot. That's irritating. That still happens. That pisses me off. I don't know if they'll ever alter that. I get the horrible feeling it will be in this franchise until either the franchise ends or I die. I mean, out of those two, I'll probably die first. But all in all, it's still good. It still works 90% of the time. And they've added something else into this one, which is really good. I mean, in Unity, you get to free run down stuff, which is really nice. Now, the free run down, it doesn't just work from buildings, so like you're at the top of a building, you can run towards the edge, and he will kind of like twist over the side and clamber down the side of the building, and then jump onto something onto the ground. It works really well. It's a lot better than hanging off the edge and repeatedly hammering the... well, it'd be circle on my controller, whatever your controller says on it, depending on what controller you use. Hammering the button to drop, it's way better than that. And also, you can use that whilst you're running on the street. Now, when you're running on the street and you use it, it's really good because it like slides under tables and vaults over counters, and you can, you know, like jump between small gaps in like fences and things. You can jump through windows into cafes, run through the cafe and jump out the other window. It's really nice. It adds a really nice extra element. I really like it. You know, there's a definite improvement over the previous games in terms of, I guess, just mobility of your character. It's a good addition, it's really good. Now, something that I have noticed in Unity already is that they seem to be going down this really, like, mental path of sticking you in situations where you're like, what the hell is going on? For a start, fairly early on, you get some proper Devil May Cry madness going on, right? It is just, it's mental. I really like it. Similarly, there's also a bit where you now bear with me here, you're going to think I'm making this up, but I'm not. It's in the game, you can check for yourself. You're minding your own business, suddenly you get a call from the woman whose name I really should remember, but I can't, saying, oh dear God, look at all of this, the Abstergo, the Templars, they are scanning for your position in this server cluster or some sort of techno-babble. Quick, you must find the portal. You must find the portal to another world. No, she doesn't say that. You've got to go through like a rift in from your server that you're in, actually in Paris, because it, like all the people disappear and it goes all crazy and wavy. And you've got to go through this rift into another server. That's mental, right? It's just mental. It feels mental. It looks mental. But it was interesting. You go through the thing. And in fact, I don't know why I'm actually giving you a play-by-play of this, because it's on the bloody screen right now. But yeah, go through the thing, you end up, like, in the future, kind of. In the Animus, in the simulation, like a bit further on in history. And they're still trying to scan for you, but they can only scan above ground, apparently, for this bit. I don't know why that happened or how it works, but let's not argue about it. Go down into the metro in Paris, and you end up running through the metro, and there's all trains and stuff, and then to get out, you know, you've got to obviously climb up the Statue of Liberty and jump through the rift up there. I haven't lost it. It's right. You just saw it on the screen. It's right there. I'm not on my face. Like that's it. It's weird, but it's really good. I really enjoyed those segments because it was like it kind of takes you out of the comfort zone of being in this character's body, you know, in this city, in this time, and it's like, oh, by the way, and everything that you've got used to. Yeah, no, that's gone. So run for your life, off you go. I really like it. It adds a nice extra element to the game. Also, it looks quite good as well. The game does look good. It's obviously held back by the fact that it's on the Peasant Station 4. But all in all, they've done a good job. The faces look good. The animations are nice. I like it. I really do like the look of it. I think they've done a really good job with Paris as well. It feels like a proper living, breathing city. Especially the ability to run through like cafes and stuff. Really adds a lot to the game. Works really well. Also, and this is going to sound weird, I enjoyed the co-op mission I did. Now, I didn't think I would enjoy this because I thought, well, there's going to be I'm going to be paired up with some prick who's going to run in and sound the alarm, and we're going to have to fight for hours and hours, and it's going to go wrong, we're going to die and have to do it again, and oh dear God, I don't know, maybe I was just having like an old man moment, but I was dreading trying this out. Actually, I'll be perfectly honest, I turned out to be that prick who just ran off and sounded the alarm, because I kind of got to where we were supposed to go and was like, now there's probably a really like stealthy way in here, but I want to murder that guy, so I did. And then we had a massive fight, and we essentially just ran through a prison, just murdering every guard we saw, which was fun. But I'm sure I apologise if you're watching, chap who I was paired with. I realised it was not helpful, but it was fun. The co-op mission was a lot of fun, and I can see that actually, you know, there are missions where you obviously cannot be seen. You know, you've got to do things silently. I can see that having like 2 other people with you, 3 other people, 1 other person with you for those missions would make them more enjoyable, because I'm sure you can pull off some really crazy cool stuff. The mission I did was very simple: break into a prison and break a guy out, so I didn't really need to do any of the stealthy stuff, but I can see it working well, and I'm actually looking forward to doing more of those. Now, there are things that I don't like about the game. I think the minimap is way too cluttered. I don't like the fact that you can't just get rid of certain icons and only look for other stuff. That's irritating to me. I think it's way over the top, and it's far, far too cluttered. I also don't particularly like the fact that you can just change out your equipment no matter where you are. That just seems a bit weird. I don't know why they decided to do that. I'd much prefer it, and I know this is going to sound strange, if you actually had to go somewhere to change this stuff out, because it makes more sense, right? It just makes more sense to me than, oh, I've just suddenly pulled like a massive axe out my arse and strapped it to my thigh. You know, I just don't like the way that that works. Another thing as well is that a couple of times I've come across people just treadmilling, just like walking on the spot. That's irritating, that's immersion breaking. You can see this guy here just like, what is he doing? He got stuck on his mate, so he's walking endlessly. And then there's this chap who I had to assassinate. Didn't bother to find out what his route was, or try and, you know, find the best angle for killing him, or try and do any sort of hidden sneaky assassination, because, well, he just walked out in the spot, out in the open, so I shot him in the head. That's, you know, it's immersion breaking. I don't like that kind of thing. I don't know how easy it would be to fix, but I would appreciate it if they tried, you know? I'd say that, all in all, Assassin's Creed Unity is a really enjoyable game. The best things about it are down to the fact that it's an Assassin's Creed game, but also, frankly, the worst things about it are down to the fact that it's an Assassin's Creed game. Stuff like the wall running not working properly. Sometimes when you jump off stuff into a bale of hay from the top of a church, which is still ridiculous, and it still just seems so stupid to me, you kind of, like, magically alter your trajectory in the air. Like, you look like you're going to miss, but then somehow you haven't missed, even though a mere 4 feet away from the thing you're about to hit the floor, but then you suddenly glided forwards, you know, that kind of thing. The walking on the spot thing, that's kind of been an issue. I've noticed that in other Assassin's Creed games. I don't know how easy it is to fix. I think, really though, it's getting to a point where, with Unity, I think they've packed in as much as they can pack in. I'm not going to lie, I'm genuinely worried that the next Assassin's Creed game is just going to be a clusterfuck, because we're kind of reaching the point where, yeah, there's a lot of content, there are a lot of missions, there's a lot of customization, but a lot of it is the same. Like, there is a lot of content in this game. There's loads. There's all kinds of co-op missions. There's loads of different story missions. There's loads of different side missions. There's assassination missions. There's heists. There's all kinds of stuff. That's great, but the mission diversity isn't there. They're all the same kind of mission, and they all play the same kind of way. I want to see more exploration and innovation of what you can do with the system that's already in place, because there's any number of things you could do in Assassin's Creed, but it's not being done, and that is frustrating for me. I like the fact that they're trying to make things a bit different. I like the fact that you've got these crazy segments where you're being thrown into the future, where you've got, again, this Devil May Cry insanity going on. I like that stuff. I think it could do with more of that stuff. But all in all, so far, I've enjoyed Assassin's Creed Unity. I think it's a great game. I think, to be honest, if you're coming into it as a newbie to the series, you're going to struggle. I don't think it's that easy to get your head around. By this point, the story has got so far on, it's so convoluted, that frankly, you need to either play all of the games up until this point, or dedicate a good day or two of reading, like, Wikipedia entries and, you know, all that kind of thing. It's getting a bit silly, but I guess one of the reasons I'm still playing Unity, why I'm still playing the Assassin's Creed games, is because the foundation is solid enough and enjoyable enough that I can kind of overlook the problems that the franchise has got as a whole and just focus on the single experience at the time.
Got the notebook.
And the single experience is really good. I recommend it It's a great game. I'm really enjoying it. Not without issues, but let's face it, what game is without issues these days? Cheers for watching, guys. Toodaloo.